So, somebody gave in to sleep. I don't personally think I'll be there for a little while. I haven't even had my first cup of coffee today, and it's 10 o'clock at night. I was just so sick earlier. I woke up with a terrible headache, really right in the third eye area, and like in my crown. It was really bad. And then I also was really nauseous and vomiting. It was terrible, and it took everything in me to get myself outside. But Wappy took the kids out, and I went with, and I just I laid on the ground out there on a blanket and in the sunshine and took a nap, and I felt so much better after I came in and took a little bit of a nap in here too. So I'm glad that's over. Yeah, drank some water, ate. So again, drinking water, grounding yourself, it's really important. I wanted to kind of bring a message to you regarding another story in the Bible, and it is before John the Baptist was taken into custody. Anyway, this is just kind of my interpretation of the story. There are, I'm sure, lots of interpretations out there. Anybody can read this book and, find their own truth in it. But this is kind of what I see when I'm reading it. And this is the part where some leaders in Jerusalem sent priests and Levites to speak with John because he was baptizing people and they were like following him. And they approached him and said, "Who are you?" And he said, "I'm not the Messiah." And they said, "Well, then who are you? Are you Elijah?" And he said, "No, I'm not." "Are you the prophet?" "No." "Well, then who are you? So we can take an answer back to those who sent us. What do you have to say about yourself?" And John said, "I am the voice of the one calling out in the desert. Make a straight path for the Lord to travel." Immediately when I see that, I think of the chakras being all aligned in the body, and how ours get blocked, how they get out of balance, and we can't make that straight path for the Lord to travel, which is up here. It's the crown chakra. This is where he he ends up. Kind of makes me think of the road to Damascus, and when Jesus ultimately ended up wearing the crown on the cross. So immediately I see right there that we need to get our chakras all lined up so that we can open our crown chakra. Now, the Pharisees said, "If you're not the Christ or Elijah or the prophet, then why do you baptize?" And John answered, "I come baptizing with water. But among you stands the one you do not know, and I am not worthy even to untie his sandals." That's a big one. I know this feeling. Now, when I look at these Gospels, they are accounts of Christ coming into the world. However, from my particular point of view, having Christ consciousness. I see these as accounts of the Christ consciousness. So this is John's account of his own Christ consciousness, his own awakening. And he's writing here about it. Now that's the way that I view it. Okay, I'm not telling everybody that they have to feel the same way, but this is just offering a different perspective. And that is, again, because Jesus said to be transformed by the renewing of your mind. And this was my transformation. This is how I read my Bible now. So, after I had my spiritual awakening, which was extremely wild, I actually went missing for like 5 hours, 6 hours. My whole family was terrified. They didn't know where I was. I had Mina with me at the time. And yeah, that was just a really wild ride. But about, let's see, that was August 5th of 2018, so, I don't know, probably like 10 months later or so, I had a vision, and I happened to be standing in the shower. Water, man. I think it's also interesting because John here says that he came baptizing with water. Now this is just essentially like giving yourself water. Like, give yourself water. Drink lots of water. And get in the water, because it is its own energy, and it's a beautiful cleansing energy. But so I happened to be standing in the shower when this vision came to me, and I actually saw my higher self. And I'm not even going to tell you what I looked like, because you won't believe me anyway. This is something for you to find out about yourself. But I don't know, I guess maybe at another point in my life I would have thought that this was a scary sight. But it like didn't even matter what I looked like. That I didn't look like my physical form now. And I realize now that my higher self is actually, at least that particular higher self, is in the 9th dimension. Now that's going to sound really wild to you guys. But there are many different dimensions that exist here. And that was my higher self that I saw. And I did not even feel worthy to stand in the presence of myself in that dimension. There was no communication with words. It was all telepathic. And it was so beautiful, and I felt nothing but like a love that I have never, ever, ever experienced before. And that was me. It was the higher me. It was the love that I was receiving by being in the presence of my higher self. And so I think that that's what Jesus meant in the Bible later on, before he was crucified. He said, love one another as I have loved you, so you shall love one another. I know what John meant now when he said that he said there's one among you, there's one who stands among you that you do not know, and I am not good enough even to untie his sandals. So he's saying right there that there's one standing here with us that you don't see. And I'm not worthy to untie his sandals. Now, why would he even make that reference if he wasn't talking about his higher self? Because John was speaking of his lower self about his higher self. That's my interpretation of this from this consciousness, this state of point, or this point of being where I'm at in my life right now. And I've been wanting to share that with you guys for a long time, but I've been really afraid to do that because it's a really different take on the Bible. But again, we're in the school of life. This life is a school, and we're here to learn one thing, and that one thing is love. And we must first learn to love ourselves before we can love others. And that's the true test here. And we are given this time right now to love ourselves, to treat ourselves with the greatest respect, and to remember that our bodies are temples. And I mean, I guess really that's the key to freedom. Being transformed by the renewing of our minds. Learning to love ourselves and just be, instead of running around doing like we've been doing for so long. This is the age of Aquarius. Everything is changing. The world will never be the same as it was before. Never. And you won't be the same either, because the world right now, like basically this is like, it's like, you know, Elon Musk talks about this being a computer simulation, or like a computer simulation. And kind of it is. I mean, I read through this Bible and I see the same stories occurring over and over and over again. So we are, we're transitioning from the age of Pisces to the age of Aquarius. And the matrix that we've been in, this revolving door that we've been in, is broken. Essentially, it's broken. It got a virus, yo. And right now, that virus is called COVID-19. Short for coronavirus 19. And 19 is symbolic in the angel world, or the angelic world. The angelic realm, I guess I should say. It represents the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end, the root to the crown chakra. And God said in the Bible, I am the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end. And this is the end of Pisces and the beginning of Aquarius. And we have a lot of work to do. And if we truly want to be free, we have to start at the root of things, and we have to work through our gunk and learn to love ourselves, because we just simply can't love the rest of the world until we do. And we're going to be in quarantine for quite some time, so we're going to be able to address those issues, so that when we go back out into the world, we have a greater sense of love and respect for one another. without all of these prejudices that hold us back. Because really, it's all smoke and mirrors, yo. You know, it's, we're just looking in the mirror, and there's smoke. There's a veil between us and ourselves. And it's time to clear the smoke and take a look at the man in the mirror, so to speak, like Michael Jackson was saying, and come into ourselves and grow and be at peace. Because right now, essentially, what we're doing is we're entering heaven. Heaven is a state of mind. It's not a place when you go when you die physically. It's a place you go when you die spiritually. When you let go of your ego, and you rise above. And I am really, really excited for this time for everybody on this planet. And freedom. And with that being said, I don't know if you guys know this. I think I've mentioned it before, and people are like, whoa, she's crazy, whatever. But hey, I do my research, and I look around, and I look for answers, and I ask for truth. And I found that the United States of America, it actually means the united, or the collective consciousness of the kingdom of heaven. Isn't that awesome? I think it's really awesome. I'm really glad to be where I'm at. And while this country seems chaotic at times, the whole world is chaotic, especially right now. I mean, we're in the great pandemic, which is where everybody's panicking. And it's just because we're being taken out of our comfort zone. We don't know what we're going through, this great rest, this deep rest that we're going into. And yeah, if you just take a step back, I mean, just ask yourself how much you've learned through all this. And then as you learn, speak your truth. Tell your truth, like I am right now. This is my truth, okay? And it takes a lot of courage to do that, because I have been putting this off for so long, out of fear, and I'm just not going to live there in fear. I'm not going to live at that vibration. So, yeah, this is just kind of my truth and what I'm doing, and just to offer you a fresh new perspective on stories that we've been reading for a really long time. And I mean, Jesus said, near the end of his ministry, he said that he spoke to us in parables or with stories, but that there would be a time that would come when we would no longer understand them as stories, and that essentially we'd be coming into our own truth. And being that this is the, kind of a rebirth that we're going through, revisiting the whole idea of this virus, and being that we're like energy beings, kind of like a computer, essentially this virus kind of took over our system, our matrix, our computer, our our lives. And, it's like a reset. We're being reset. The world is being reset, and it's a darn good thing, because we've been suffering for way too long, and the earth has been suffering so much because of all that we've done to her over all this time of just being selfish. And it's time for us to take care of her, because that's what we do with our elders. We take care of them. So we've got amazing nurses right now. Even my daughter is out there working in an old folks home, just doing everything that she can to provide for them and help for them along with others. And that's what we do. we take care of our elders and make sure they don't get sick. And sadly, we are getting our ass whooped right now. Like, we are in major timeout. She's like, you know, you guys, I'm sick and I can't take care of you, so I need a freaking break, you know. So you're going on a timeout so that I can replenish, so that I can provide for you. So remember that too. It's not just about us. It's really about her, and where she stands in this whole universe. And as she raises her frequency and she heals, we're going to raise our frequency, we're going to heal, and we're just going to soar together, and it's going to be amazing. And that brings me back to another verse in the Bible. It's Isaiah 40:31. It says, those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength, and they will mount up with wings as eagles. And to me, that's just this ascension that we're about to go through, this growth that we're about to go through along with our mother, the earth. And it's just, we're taking a break now, guys. So don't freak out. Don't get upset. I know it's really scary, but it's essential for growth. And we're all going to be okay. Every little thing going to be all right. I'm going to get back to my evening and just drinking more water and nourishing myself. I really have some recovery of myself to do after this long, horrible, sickening day. So anyway, I hope this message finds you well, and my condolences to all who are being affected by the coronavirus. And we're going to make it through, you guys. Okay? As always, I love you, and namaste.